Now what I can do on the screen is I can begin to give you these levels step by step, and we're going to try that. I'm not sure where I point this. I'm going to guess if I point it there, it happens. Okay? Okay. Somebody's going to help me. I have to assume I'm on level 1 here. Is that true? Talk to me. Am I on level 1 or not? I have no idea. Take it back. I just pressed the ring. Okay. Back. Is this the 5 levels here? Okay. Now the gentleman helping me here is just that's Mark Cole. Mark is the CEO of the 5 companies that I founded, and he runs everything for me, okay? So Mark is the brains. He works hard and he's the brains. I just go around speaking, okay? Okay, so Mark's the guy. Now, this is the 5 levels of leadership. Did we get to the level 1 already? I cannot tell. Is this level 1?
Yes.
Okay, position. I'm not doing this. Somebody's moving for me. Okay, now we do. Okay. Level number 1, okay, is the position level. That's where we begin our journey of leadership. This is where we start. Everybody starts by getting a leadership position. With new skin, when you join this organization, they sit down, they tell you the basics about the organization, they give you some resources that will help you become successful, and basically they put you on level number 1. This is where you get started, and they give you the opportunity to lead. They give you a position of leadership. Now, at this level, people follow you because they have to. At this level, the people follow you because they have to. In other words, you're the boss, you're the leader, and so they kind of get in line, and you're over them, and you're up line, and whatever. And so they follow you because they have to. Now, what I want you to understand is this is where we begin, level 1. We get a leadership position. Now, let me tell you what's wonderful about this position. What's wonderful about this is this gives us the chance to start leading. Now that we have a leadership position, we get to practice our leadership skills. We'll be good at some things, we'll not be good at some things. This can be a wonderful time in your life because it's your first opportunity to lead other people. And the way you learn to lead is by practicing leadership. So it's a good thing to start here. It's a wonderful thing to have a position that allows you to practice leadership. This is where we begin. The challenge is this. Most people think that once they have the position of a leader, that means that they're a good leader. That's not true. You can have the position of leadership without being a good leader. That's a fact. Because there are many people, they have leadership positions, but they don't lead well at all. I mean, think about people that you've had that were over you in past experiences, that they were the boss, but they weren't a good leader. They weren't a good leader. So just because you have a title of leadership, just because you have the position of leadership, just because you have the opportunity to lead, it doesn't really mean that you're a good leader. It just means you got the opportunity. Most people think that the position of leadership means that they're a good leader. It does not. It just means that you have an opportunity to lead. It means you have an opportunity to practice leadership. It means you get an opportunity to try things out. You get an opportunity to grow as a leader. When I started off on level number 1, it was a wonderful thing for me because it just gave me an opportunity to try out my leadership development and my leadership skills. It was a wonderful thing. But what you have to understand is just because you have a leadership title, just because you have a leadership position, doesn't mean that you're a good leader. My favorite leadership proverb is, "He that thinketh he leadeth, and hath no one following him, is only taking a walk." And I know all kind of people taking walks. They have a leadership title, they have a leadership position, But they don't influence people, they don't lead people, they don't bring people with them. But this is where we start. We start on level number 1. This is the beginning for us. It's a good place to begin. It's not a good place to stay. And here's why. If you are a positional leader, the people only follow you because they don't have any choice. They're under you. That doesn't make you a good leader. That doesn't tell you how well you influence people, how well you motivate people, how well you add value and help people. That doesn't tell you at all. All it tells you is people are following you because they have to. They have no choice. I see this happen all the time. I see people having leadership positions and thinking that somehow the position makes them a good leader. It doesn't. It just gives you an opportunity to learn how to lead. It's a good place to start. It's not a good place to stay. And here's why. When people only follow you because they have to, you have to understand. They won't give you a lot of energy, and they won't give you a lot of time, and they won't give you a lot of commitment. They're just doing the things they have to do to follow. You lose energy. You lose a lot of mental time and thinking from the people because they're not committed to you. They're following you because they have no choice. That's the reason that organizations many times never grow. Because the leaders are positional. And the leaders say, hey, I'm the leader, you're the follower, you have to follow me. So the people follow, but they only follow as little as they possibly can. They're not following with their heart, they're not following with their mind, they're not giving 100%. And if people are not giving their best, their leadership will never prosper, and neither will yours. They won't grow. People that are positional leaders, here's the key. People that are positional leaders, they never develop other leaders. They just develop followers. And if you just develop followers, you'll never be able to reproduce yourself, you'll never be able to reproduce your organization, you'll never be able to equip people, you'll never be able to empower people. All you'll have is followers. And at level number 1, you have just followers because they have to follow you. And the energy level is very low because they're not following you by choice. They're following you because you are upline, you're over them. They have really no choice. Now, that's level number 1. This is where it begins. But this isn't where it should stay. Every one of you here today, you're already a level 1 leader. The question is not, are you a level 1 leader? The question is, will you become a level 2 leader? Because as you go up each level and develop yourself more, you become more influential and you become more effective in your leadership. So let's go to level number 2 for a moment, okay? On level number 2, this level is the permission level. At level number 2, the key word is relationships. In other words, people follow you because they want to. Now that's you. People follow you because they want to. On level 1, they followed you because they have to. There's a lot of difference between having to follow a leader and wanting to follow a leader. This is you. And at this level, they want to follow you. Now, why do they want to follow you? Because as you grow as a life leader, if you get to level number 2, you have more than a title or position to lead people. When you get to level number 2, you're now developing relationships. People now are following you because they like you. And not only do they like you, you like them. Now, what happens at level 2? The biggest difference between level 1 and level 2 is that when you connect with people and you relate to people, what happens, this is beautiful, is that they want to follow you. No longer are they doing so because you're not blind, they're doing so because they like you. Because you connect with them. Because you're meeting their needs. Because you care for them. Because you're developing a relationship with them. So what happens is the energy increases. The greatest benefit between a one-level leader and a two-level leader is a two-level leader gets a lot more energy from his or her people. And once you get energy from people, things begin to really do well for you. Now, they'll give you extra time. They'll give you extra effort. They'll give you their mind. They'll do the things that allow you to build a successful team. Remember this, you can only develop a successful team if you get a lot of energy from your team. And you can only get a lot of energy from your team if your players like you and you like them. At this level, level number 2, you're beginning to connect with your people. Now, the question is, how do you and I do level 2 really well? And I'm going to give you 3 things that level 2 leaders do exceptionally well, okay? Because I want you all to become a level 2 leader. And if you do these 3 things consistently every day, remember, the secret of your success is what you do daily. If you do these 3 things every day, trust me, you'll become a level 2 leader. The first thing that level 2 leaders do very well is that they listen. Level 2 leaders are great listeners. I wrote a book recently entitled Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And it's one of the most important books I've ever written on leadership because most people don't understand how leadership really works. Most people think that leadership works by giving direction to people, by casting vision to people, by telling people where to go and what to do and how to get there. And most people think of leaderships as people that kind of just tell people what to do. Now I want you to understand, if you want to be a successful leader, one of the first things you're going to understand is you lead most effectively by asking questions. And here's why. You have to find your people before you can lead your people. So the first responsibility of a leader isn't to lead anybody. The first responsibility of a leader is to find the people they're going to lead. And you find the people you're going to lead by asking questions. And when you ask questions, there's an assumption that you're asking questions to listen, to learn, so that you can lead. In other words, I'm asking you questions as a leader to find you. Where are you? Who are you? How can I help you? The only way that I know that I can help you is by finding you. You see, managers lead everybody the same, but leaders lead everybody different. And leaders lead everybody different because leaders understand that people have different reasons for following. So what I need to do as a leader is to find you. Now, once I find you, I can lead you. But when I ask questions of you, what I'm doing is I'm listening and then I'm learning. In fact, here's the way it works of a level 2 leader. Leaders listen, they learn, and then they lead. But they don't lead until they've listened and learned. And the reason for that is they understand that they can't be successful in leading people until they know who their people are, until they know what their people want, until they understand where their people are living and what their people's goals are and their dreams are and what their temperament is. All these things that you've got to know as a leader to lead people effectively. The great leaders, their leadership cues are based on knowing who their people are, what their people want. So they listen, they learn, and then they walk slowly through the crowd. And they get their leadership ideas and their leadership thoughts from where the people are, and what the people are saying, and what the people are asking. You can always tell an immature leader from a mature leader. An immature leader leads by giving direction and casting vision. A mature leader leads by asking questions. I was just in New York City and I was being interviewed by the press, and they asked me, they said, John, what's the difference between being a leader in your 30s and being a leader in your 60s? I said, it's very simple. When I was a young leader, I just told people what to do. But now that I've become a mature leader, I ask them questions. And I'm still going to give them vision, and I'm still going to give them direction. But now when I give them vision and direction, it's going to be based on where they are, what they know, what they're saying, what they're thinking. Now all of my direction is going to be based upon where they are, not where I am. Listen very carefully to me. If you're going to lead successfully, if you're going to be a level 2 leader, you don't lead people based upon what you think. You lead people based upon what they think. You don't lead people based upon where you are. You lead people based upon where they are. You don't lead people based on your journey. You lead people based upon their journey. You find them, and once you find them, then you can lead them. But you can't lead them until you find them, and you can't find them until you ask questions and listen and learn, and then you lead. That's a level 2 leader. A level 2 leader does 3 things well. Number 1, they listen very well. The second thing that level 2 leaders do very well, they not only listen very well, they observe very well. They watch the people that they're leading. And the reason that they watch the people that they're leading, the reason that they are strong in observation, is they understand a basic leadership principle. The basic leadership principle is very simple. It's not what people say to you that determines how good they're going to be. It's what people do that determines how good they're going to be. Words are very cheap. It's easy to say, I'm going to build a business and do skin. I'm going to do, hey, words are so cheap. But you don't lead based upon what your people say. You lead based upon what your people do. And so it's the observation of the people. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. I tell my people all the time that I'm leading, don't tell me that you're going to go build a business. Just go show me that you're going to build a business. I want to see you. I want to watch you. It's your behavior that determines your effectiveness, not your words. And if it's your behavior that determines your effectiveness, not your words, then what I need to do as a leader is I need to observe your behavior. Because it's in that everything counts. Let me just take a moment and pull this out for you, okay? Vision is very important for leadership. Casting vision, where the company's going, what we're going to do, what our goals are, very important. So I'm not anti-vision when I teach this, but listen to me carefully. There's something 100 times more important than vision to build a company. Vision just says this is where we're going. If you want to build a great organization, if you want to build a great team, put a lot more emphasis upon culture, not vision. Culture eats vision for life. Because vision is what you say you're going to do, but culture is what you actually do. Culture is behavior. And behavior is the indication, always, not sometimes, most of the time, behavior is the indication always of how successful a person is going to be. It's easy for us to come to this New Skin conference with thousands of people, and you meet every couple of years here, and you come together to talk about the business, and you come together to kind of show off all the good things you're doing, and let the people see the ones that are really producing. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But let me tell you something. It basically has very little to do with your success at all. Your success isn't going to be how happy you get here or how many times you stand up and clap and cheer. It isn't going to do anything in your business. The only thing that's going to do anything in your business is if you go back to your home, wherever that is, or your community, and you actually do it. You've got to do it. It's the behavior. That's how you're going to be successful in this business. It isn't what you say to your upline here, oh, I'm going to go build a business. That means absolutely nothing until you go build a business. And culture is the behavior. It's the value system of an organization that fleshes out what the vision is. The greatest way to tell how good you're going to be is not what you say, but what you say. And because that is true, what do leaders do? Leaders at level 2, they're always watching and observing. And the reason they're watching and observing is they know that your behavior is going to indicate to them, listen to me, how much time you should spend with them. For example, I tell all my people, I love all of you. I love you all unconditionally. I've got you on the team. Rah, rah, rah. So, every one of you get my love, but you have to earn my time. You do understand, I love you all. But the only one that I'm going to give my time commitment to are those that are doing it, that are practicing it. I'm not going to give my time to people who are talking about doing it. There's no return in talk. There's only return in behavior. And level 2 leaders understand this, and so what they do is they observe their people. And why do they observe their people? Because by observing their people, they know how much time to spend with those people and what to do when they spend that time with them. So they're always watching, they're observing, they're listening, they're walking slowly through the crowd. Level number 2, they're constantly connecting, but they're connecting with their ears, they're connecting with their eyes, they're observing, they're watching. And the third thing that level number 2 leaders do really, really well is they serve really well. They connect with people not only because they love their people, but because they have a servant attitude toward their people. They're not positional in their thinking and not positional in their leading. And what they do is they come alongside of their people. And yes, there are times they're in front of their people as a leader, but most of the time they're not in front of their people. Most of the time, they're beside their people. And they're walking with their people. They're experiencing with their people. They're sharing with their people. And so they realize that to do this relationally, what you do is you don't stand over your people. You stand beside your people. You don't walk in front of people, you walk with your people. And in walking with them and standing beside them, you're constantly mentoring, teaching, connecting, relating, identifying where those people are. You see, when you become a level 2 leader, you can tell you become a level 2 leader because relationships with your people is more important than your position over your people. So when you lead relationally, you don't lead positionally. Because if you've got to tell people that you're the boss, you're not. If you have to insist everything comes from you, it's not going to come from you and be effective in working with them. So level 2 leaders really understand that they've got to serve their people. And what does that mean? Well, what that means is Mark Cole is my CEO and he oversees my 5 companies. And every day I ask Mark, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? What can I do to lighten your load? Is there something that you need me to do to help you? Now, I'm the founder of the company, so I'm the owner of the company, but my first response to him is always not how do I tell you what to do or run your life or oversee you. My first thing is how can I help you? What can I do to serve you? Because I have 5 companies, and I do, of course, no day-to-day stuff or no hiring, people are employed that I don't even know. And sometimes my wife Margaret and I'll be in a restaurant, somebody will come up to me and they'll shake their hand, shake my hand, and they'll introduce themselves, and they'll say, Mr. Maxwell, I work for you. I just was hired in one of your companies. And I always smile and introduce myself and tell them my name is John and I'm their friend. And I always ask them, sit down with me for a moment, just sit here, stay. And when they sit down beside me, I look at them and I say, now, let me explain a couple things to you. Number one, you don't work for me. Nobody works for me. Now, you work with me, and I work with you, and we work together, and we partner, but you don't work for me. I don't have slaves. You work with me. We work together. And I want you to understand that. Because I'm going to get the best out of you by connecting with you. And I'm going to connect with you by caring for you. You see, there are 3 questions that followers ask about their leaders. 3 questions. A few years ago, when I did the opening ceremonies at the United Nations in New York, they asked me to come. And for the first 2 hours, as they opened the season of the United Nations, to spend 2 hours teaching and leadership to the ambassadors of the world. So I asked myself as I prepared for that 2-hour talk, what can I do that will connect with all the different cultures, all the different countries, all the different personalities? What is it that I can say to them? What is it that I can share with them in leadership that will connect with every one of them? And that day for 2 hours, I did a lesson called 3 things that followers ask of their leaders. And those 3 things that I gave the ambassadors of the United Nations are the 3 things I'm going to give you right now. Because if people are following you in new skin in the business, there are 3 questions they're asking about you. This is universal. It covers every culture. By the way, the reason the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership has sold so many millions of copies, it covers every culture. There are laws, and the laws work regardless of culture. These 3 questions that followers ask of their leaders, these 3 questions, trust me, if people are following you in this business, they're asking these 3 questions about you as a leader. And the reason I'm going to give them to you, the reason you need to know them, is that once you know these 3 questions, it will begin to change how you lead the people. So let me give you the 3 questions. If somebody is following you in new skin right now, the first question they ask when they join your team, is, do you like me? Do you like me? I mean, if I'm going to go into this as a little business and maybe make it my life's business, I just want to like the person that's going to lead me. I just want them to be likable. I just want to, if I'm going to be on the team, I want it to be an enjoyable experience. And if you don't like me, why would I want to be on your team? Or if you're not likable, why would I want to be on your team? So this whole relational connection begins with the fact that people like you. And what's amazing to me in this kind of business, in this kind of people business that you're in, what amazes me is the people that are in this business and are not likable. Oh my gosh. So just look at somebody and say, hello, my name's John, I'm your friend, and I just want to sit down at the table with you. And I just want you to be across the table, and I just want to say, let me help you. Let me explain something to you. You're in a people. I know new skin is the business. But you only be good at new skin if people like you. And if you like people, and my name is John and I'm your friend. And people don't like it. I see it happen all the time. I just want to walk up to them and say, you have no hope. You have no shot at this until you learn to smile. I can still remember when I was in the second grade one day, I looked in the mirror and I saw my face. I said, oh, John, you are not a handsome dude. Now what are we going to do with a face like this? And then I smiled, and as soon as I smiled, I said, oh, that helps. Didn't heal me, but it helped me. You're in the people business. And the first question that people are going to ask when they follow you is just a simple question. Do I like them? Do they like me? If you don't like them or they don't like you, they're not going to hang. They're going to be gone. They're going to leave. Trust me. I'm loving watching you. All of you are smiling more than you were a moment ago. That's good. You look good. The first question is, do they like me? The second question, can they help me? In other words, if I follow you, are you going to help me? Is it going to get better for me? Is my life going to get better? Am I going to get more successful? Well, why would I follow you? Why would I follow anyone that can't help me? Where's the joy in following somebody that they're not good? That's the reason you need to be good in this business, is because that's the only way people are going to be able to follow you, is if you're good. Because that's the only way you can help them. If you're not any good in it, you're not going to help any people. If you're bad, they're going to be bad. Can you help me? And the third question, can I trust you? Are you a trustworthy person? If I follow you, will you do what's right for me? Or are you going to cheat me? Are you going to do something that hurts me? Are you trustworthy? You see, the first question, do you like me? That's all about compassion. The second question, can you help me? It's all about confidence. The third question, can I trust you? That's all about character. Isn't it interesting? Two of those three questions that followers ask of their leader are level 2 questions. Do you like me? That's a level 2 question. Can I trust you? That's a level 2 question. And to be a level 2 leader, you've got to be trustworthy. You've got to enjoy the people, and you've got to have a servant's attitude. And it all begins when you every day. Somebody asked me the other day, said, "What does a servant leader do?" A servant leader every day adds value to his or her people. When you are serving your people, you're making them better every day. You're adding value to them every day. And your first thought is, every day, how can I add value to you? How can I make you better? How can I help you? Now, there are 3 ways to add value to people. If you're going to be a servant leader, and you want to add value to people on a daily basis, there are 3 things that you've got to do really well to do that. Number 1 is you've got to value your people. You've got to value the people that you lead. This is huge. You got to value the people. When you stop loving your people, you should stop leading your people. Because when you stop loving and valuing the people that you lead, you'll begin to take advantage of them. You'll begin to manipulate them. This is always wrong in any business. Manipulating people is when you move people for your personal advantage. In other words, it helps you, but it doesn't help them. And when you devalue people, when you don't truly value people, that's what you'll do. You'll manipulate them, you'll move them together for your advantage, you'll get a lot out of them, but they won't get anything out of you. You put yourself before them. That's devaluing people. And the foundation for you leading people is you've got to value them. Because there's a very, very small line that you cross between when you value people and put them first and when you begin to value yourself and put yourself first. It's a very, very small line that's easy to cross over. You just got to love the people that you lead. You got to care for the people that you lead. You want to have the best for the people you lead. So if you want to really add value to people, it begins, number one, by just valuing people, period. I value every one of you. That's the reason I'm here. Here's what I do. I value you. That's why I'm here in Singapore. Trust me. I didn't come to Singapore because I needed another airline. Okay? In my lifetime, I've flown millions and millions of miles. Trust me, I didn't get excited about getting on a plane and flying for 24 hours to Singapore. There's nothing exciting about that, okay? Nothing exciting about that. So I'm not here because I wanted to take a trip. Wow. Ooh, I maybe could eat the pilot. Oh, happy day. I'm not here because of that. I'm not here because I need to speak one more time. I've spoken 12,000 times, okay? So I don't need to I think if I could just speak one more time, I get it, you know what I mean? I can really get it. No. So I didn't come here because I need another speaking opportunity, and I didn't come here because I need the money. But I got a lot of money, okay? Well, I think I made that right, but I got a lot of money. I mean, it's just, I've sold 26 million books. Do the math. Okay? I'm okay financially. So you say, then John, if you did get excited about the trip, I've been to Singapore dozens of times. If you did get excited about the trip, you didn't get excited about speaking, you didn't get excited about the money, why are you here? Well, it's very simple. I'm excited about two things. I'm excited about you and how valuable you are. And I'm excited about my message, how valuable it is. You see, I value you as a person, but I value your potential as a person just as much. And I know that if I can teach you leadership today, and if I can help you to develop yourself as a leader and learn these 5 levels of leadership and work your way through the process of time and years up these 5 levels, I know what I'll do for your life. I know what I'll do for New Skin. But more than just the company, I know what I do for you. I value New Skin. It's a fabulous company. I can tell you right now, if you belong to this company, you're in great, okay? You're in good shape. I value the company. In fact, I wouldn't even be here if I didn't value the company. I don't even speak for it. Trust me, I get enough invitations. I can say no to as many as I want. So I don't even come unless I really love the company, and I love New Skin. I think it's a terrific company. Yeah, but I also came because I value you. I value who you are. You, as a person. And if what I teach you today begins to add value and make sense to you, then I'm happy. That my payment is that I added value to you. And I do that because I value. Number 2, though, there's 3 ways to add value to people. Remember, and we're still in this relational, this level 2 kind of a leader that connects with the people. The second reason that I value, or the second way that I add value to you, is that I make myself more valuable. In other words, very simply, I get better. And if I get better, guess what I can do for you? I can make you better. But if I don't get better, I can't make you better. So the whole issue of adding value to you is that I have to keep growing. I have to keep learning. So that I'm always teaching you out of what I'm learning. Not just out of yesterday. Some leaders, all they can do is lead out of yesterday because they're not learning today. And I understand that. So The reason that I keep coming to organizations and companies is because I keep learning, I keep growing, I keep writing books, I keep adding, because every day I grow. Why? Because I'm committed to personal growth. We'll talk about that this afternoon. Personal growth, helping people grow. We're going to talk about that. But the key is this. If I'm going to add value to you on a daily basis, guess what I have to do? I have to personally get better on a daily basis. That's why leaders that are at the top can't stay flat. They have to keep growing. They can't become satisfied. They have to continually develop themselves. They have to continually commit themselves to getting better. Because the only way I can help you tomorrow is learn something today. If I'm not learning something today, I have nothing to give you tomorrow. And when I watch leaders settle and get satisfied and say, wow, I'm kind of at the top and I'm making a lot of money. And I look at them and say, that isn't the reason you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be a leader to help people. No way you can help people is keep learning, keep growing. And so I've got to get better every day. If I'm going to add value to you, I've got to value you, and I've got to get better today. I've got to grow myself because I cannot give you what I do not have. We teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are. And if I'm going to give you what I have, I've got to keep growing. I've got to keep learning. Wow. It never stops for me. And it should never stop for anyone, leader. When you stop loving people, you should stop leading people. And when you stop learning, you should stop leading people. The only right that I have to lead you tomorrow is that I learned something today that I can give you tomorrow that will make you better. And if I can't give you something that will make you better tomorrow, I should stop leading you and let somebody else have a shot at it. So I add value to you. I value you, making myself more valuable. And thirdly, I add value to you by knowing and relating to what you value. This goes back to this level 2 leader who's listening all the time. The way that I add value to you is to get on your page, not on my page, to sing your song, not my song. To find out where you are, not to tell you where I am. And the only way that I can do that, is to listen to you until I know what you value, because what you value is how I'll lead you. I'll lead you according to what you value, not what I value. What you know, not what I know. What you need, not what I need. Leaders understand. You've got to get away from yourself. I'm going to go to level 3 in a moment. Let me just give one quick visual teaching to this, and then I'll move on. Now, in the States, I don't know if this happens in Asia at all, so if the illustration will still work, but I'm not sure. There's an expression in the States that leaders often say, and the expression is, it's lonely at the top. Now, is this an expression you're used to hearing? How many of you have heard the expression? Raise your hand if you've heard the expression, it's lonely at the top. Oh, a lot of you, okay. So this, okay, a lot of you, okay. And in America, in the States, it's kind of like the leader. It's kind of like the leader's on top of the mountain. And he or she is looking down at all the people down there. And they're going, oh my. Oh my, look at him. Look at him. Oh, look at him. Oh, it's lonely at the top. Lonely at the top. A leader never said that. If you think it's lonely at the top, see, leaders never say it's lonely at the top for one reason. If you're at the top all alone, no one's following you. The job of a leader isn't to be lonely. That's not your job. If you're lonely, it's not because you're a leader. If you're lonely, it's because you have a personality disorder. You've got other issues. They're not leadership issues. You need a counselor. Because what do leaders do? I can tell you exactly what leaders do. If leaders are at the top, and they don't have their people with them, the first thing they do is they get off the top. They get off the top. And the reason they get off the top is they know that they have one responsibility to the leader, and that's to connect with the people. And what they do is they get down there where the people are, and they walk slowly through the crowd, and they connect with the people. And then, when they go to the top, guess what they do? They take their people with them. And if the people just kind of stop here, they stop here for a moment, gather them a little bit more, and they take them and they keep bringing them along. They bring them along. Leaders only get to the top when they bring people with them. If you're not bringing people with you, you're not a leader. I don't know. If you're at the top all alone of a mountain, you're not a leader, you're a hiker. You don't want to be a hiker. You want to be a leader. By the way, that's why it takes a while to get to the top. Because you're bringing people with you. Leaders never cross the finish line first. Never. Because they take people with them. And if I take people with me, I've got to slow my pace. People aren't going to be as fast as me. So I slow my pace. I take them. Well, see, the person that finishes first in a race, they ran alone. They didn't have anybody to wait on. They didn't have any responsibility to anybody. They just didn't care. They just got up and ran. But leaders, they get the people and they say, come on, let's go. And you know a leader. You know how you know a leader? You know a leader because a leader, when they cross the finish line, people cross the finish line with them. And it's not I won, it's we won. And that's what we'll teach this afternoon. We'll teach you about how to develop teams in such a way that you cross the finish line together. Because your success as a leader isn't determined on your success. You can be successful and not be a leader. Your success as a leader is determined upon other people's success. And level 2 leaders understand this. And level 2 leaders, they're highly relational. And they understand that they got to bring people with